Now, this morning we focus on various crimes and their effect on South African communities. Ronald Masinda is in Bonteheuwel in Cape Town for us this morning. Good morning, Ronald. Perhaps you could paint us a picture of the community there in Cape Town. We know that in Cape Town, when we speak of crime, we're speaking of gangs, we're speaking of drugs, and we're speaking of robberies. But it seems this sexual exploitation that we've been reporting of has shaken the community there.
Yes, indeed, Bonteheuwel. It is a story that has had many people here in Bonteheuwel up in arms. It is a case that is before the Parow Regional Court, where this alleged woman who allegedly committed this crime of selling her child's nudes online is still being investigated. It is frustrating for the community in Bonteheuwel, who say that they are doing their utmost best to fight against crime. We do know that here in Bonteheuwel, what we've been told by the locals, crime is on a decline. Gangsterism, for example, has been quite rife in the past here, but the Neighborhood Watch Group here says they are winning their war against crime. Joy Reuters, thank you so much for your time. Just tell us, I mean, there's also been events of two people who've died this weekend alone. How common is this happening?
This is not so common because we as a Neighborhood Watch work hand in hand with SAPS and law enforcement and the community. Due to us working as a trio, we're always on top of everything. If something happens, the community will let us know, we will let the ward councillor or the police know, and immediately it will be dealt with.
Okay, your ward councillor, Angus Mackenzie, says that you guys are doing a marvelous job. And this is the safest township. These are his exact words. I'm going to bring him in shortly. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I do. It's only because we all work together. We don't stand and watch stuff. If the community sees a thing, they let either the Neighborhood Watch know or they let the police know, and together we tackle that. So it's true what he says, yeah.
All right. Angus Mackenzie, let me bring you into the conversation. You're saying that gangsterism will never end.
Absolutely. I think it's it's as old as prostitution, so it's one of the oldest, professions around. But the critical thing is, how do we suppress gangsterism? And in suppressing gangsterism, how do we then create opportunities for people and gangsters or would-be gangsters to get jobs, to go to school, to be able to get that social upliftment going? So we've done very well in Bonteheuwel, and we've worked really hard to create a suppressed gang environment where people can now freely go to school and not have issues. People can freely go and work, and we're walking around in Bonteheuwel today. These sort of things would never have happened in the past. And it's been really about creating relationships between Neighborhood Watch, police, community policing, and bringing those all together so that there's a trust relationship that exists between the community and the police, which there wasn't before. And what we've then seen from that process is that as things are happening, as gangsters are doing the things, people are telling us, and we are able to respond to it very quickly because we have visible policing in our area through the various people that are doing the jobs that they are doing here.
At one stage, I think it was last year or the year before, you guys averaged around 40 or 30 murders a month. That was alarmingly high, but you are telling me now that Bonteheuwel has since been a success story. What have you done differently?
So I think what we've done differently is we've realized that the issue doesn't sit with the local police officer. The local police officer is trying his utmost to keep this community safe. There's a national government problem when it comes to policing. There's a national management of policing that's a major problem. And that's why we're pushing for the devolution of policing down to the province, so that we're able to manage police better. So the first thing was to be able to regain trust between the community and policing, because that relationship wasn't there anymore. And we used the Bonteheuwel law enforcement team quite strongly in that, as well as our neighborhood watchers and our community ambassadors, so that when people gave us information, people at least gave us information that was credible and that they trusted the fact that we would act on that communication and not leak that communication out. And so as soon as someone told us that there's a gang activity happening here, there's a gang activity here, we were able to respond very quickly. Our visible policing was there. And what does that do for that individual that's giving information? It regains, it rebuilds her trust. And so she sits and she goes, 3 minutes ago, I told the councillor this is happening. 3 minutes later, here there's a van outside the house. And she tells someone else and someone else. I think one of the best things we've achieved in this community is where parents are actually starting to tell us, my child is a gangster, he's got a gun, this is where the gun is, you can come and pick him up now.
All right. Tell us, lastly, Angus, about this child pornography case. Why has it taken so long?
So this is the other challenge we sit with, unfortunately, is the criminal justice system. The criminal justice system has failed our communities, and not just in Bonteheuwel, but across. And very much in the same case of this mother that was arrested almost a year and a half ago, effectively, for selling pictures of her daughter and sexual assault of her daughter. The case has been postponed 6 times. She's still not been charged. In the same way that we on average arrest about 40 people a month, or we used to arrest about 40 people a month in this community, and only and we re-arrest that same 37 because only 3 of them are being convicted. So there is a major challenge with the criminal justice system, and unless the criminal justice system works, it's going to be very difficult for us to take the suppression of gang violence and to actually eradicate gang violence. So it is a challenge for us. It's a major challenge for our communities, not just in Bonteheuwel, but across the city, across the country, that the court system is just not working.
All right, thank you very much indeed for your time. That was Angus McKenzie, the ward councillor here in Bonteheuwel. We will continue walking, Mfundo, just to also check as to how this neighborhood watch group is trying to address the issues of crime. But in the next hour as well, we will be moving to the Tableview police station. That is where a group of Nigerian protesters who say that they are condemning the allegations leveled against one of their own in a matter that was trending on social media last week.
That's most certainly another big matter that we should touch on in the next hour. But Ronald, very, very commendable of the community of Bonteheuwel to look to themselves for the solutions, not just police officers, and quite impressive that they've opted to say we're going to give would-be criminals options not to enter into the gangsterism space. So very, very commendable that solutions are coming from community members. Thanks very much. That's our reporter, Ronald Masinda. More news and updates on the other side of this break. Do stay with us.